Oh boy, looks like we have just completely skipped the fall and headed straight into winter in the province of Alberta. Yes, these are shots out of Calgary, and just take a second to let that sink in. Lots of snow. It was tricky for drivers. Lots of car crashes. We had Tom Reynolds from Beat the Traffic. He was covering that story. And of course, Beat the Traffic, still a good source throughout the day today. If you are going to have to travel in these conditions, we are seeing lots of crashes and unfortunately bad road conditions, especially along the QE2. Now, as we take a look at our live radar right now, where we see the blues, yes, that's where the snow is falling. But I will tell you, this is good news because this is all the tail end of the snow. I know it's been quite a story for the past few days. We've had Margot and Deb covering the story for us, but it looks like this is all going to come to an end shortly. Now, the snowfall warning is still in place throughout the foothills. Calgary is included in that, but it does look like this should be dropped later on today. Now, throughout the day today, we still could be expecting that around that 5 to 10 more centimeters of snow throughout Calgary and through the foothills, looking like less than 5 centimeters. So the snow story still going to be problematic throughout the day today, and we will keep you updated on that, of course. But also, Jacqueline, we are tracking storms throughout southern Ontario with humid conditions.
That's exactly right.
Yes, wind chill values throughout Alberta today. And as we take a live look at the radar here, we can see Calgary still into the snow, but the good news is this is the tail end. The snow will be ending shortly. We see the rain a little bit further south down in towards Lethbridge. So a little bit of mixing going on through here. But right now in Calgary, yes, snow is the story. Already today, 8 centimeters has fallen. So we're seeing those upsloping winds, the moist air, cooler air aloft, and that's why we're seeing snow. Right now, the high pressure is really an Arctic air mass, a very cold air mass. Now, as we take a look at this, the snowfall warning, this is still in place. It's been in place for over 24 hours now. So still here, Calgary, you are included in that. We're speaking with our meteorologists, and we're thinking that this should be dropped later on today. Now, in towards this afternoon, this is what we see, the trough going by. The snow clears out in towards the evening. High pressure in place for tomorrow, but cold temperatures. Clean off the car, clean off the driveway, because this will be freezing in towards tomorrow. Now, stay with us here at the Weather Network. Our coverage continues on the snow in Alberta and the storms in Ontario. Don't go anywhere.
You'll be feeling a lot better on those area highways.
Oh, Margot, even your camera looks cold out there. Thanks so much for that update. Today in the city of Calgary, we've seen about 8 centimeters of snow, but overall with the past few days, some areas have seen closer to 40. So really depends on where you are. And Margot said it perfectly. If you are out on the roads today, please drive with care. We are seeing those very slippery and slick conditions, way too many accidents. And of course, beatthetraffic.com. Check that out for more on the road conditions. Now, as we take a look at Calgary, still in the snow, but the good news is this is the tail end of the snow. I know for the past few days you've been living in a winter wonderland, let's say, a very early winter snowfall, but this is all going to come to an end. Now, the snowfall warning still in place, but speaking with our meteorologists, this should be dropped later on today. Now, in terms of today, how much more snow, this is additional snowfall, could be looking at around that 5 to 10 centimeter range throughout the day today. But Jacqueline, the good news is the snow is on its way out. So I'm talking about snow and wind chills, and you and Chrissy are talking about the storm potential and the humidex.
I know, all hands on deck today because it's a big story, both
conditions. But I'm going to take a different angle on this snow video that I'm showing you. Yes, it's bad now, but Calgary, your high on Sunday is 19. So this is in a full-fledged force into winter. We will head back into the fall, and then winter's coming. Now, let's take a look at the radar right now. We can see Calgary still into the snow. Snowfall warnings are in place. However, this is the tail end of the system here. We do have that very cold Arctic air mass in place with the upsloping winds, the moist air. That's what is creating some of this snow. We also have rain down to the south, Medicine Hat into the rain right now. And yes, the snowfall warnings, those are in place throughout the foothills, Calgary included in that, as well as Lethbridge. We're speaking with our meteorologists. These should be dropped later on today. Now, yes, I said we're in the tail end of the snow right now for you guys in Calgary, but you can still expect a little bit more today. And one of the problems with this snow, it's that very heavy and that very wet snow. So power outages are in place. Was just checking in about earlier today, 18,000 people without power. So very problematic. As we take a look at this, this is the trough that swings through. And again, as the high pressure sinks south, it also takes the active weather and the snow with it. We are seeing it clearing in towards tomorrow, but very cold temperatures tomorrow. Stay with us. Storms in Ontario, snow in Alberta. More next. Calgary leaving with some very cold temperatures. So this could lead to some freezing conditions. Of course, if you aren't cleaning your cars off properly, shoveling the driveway, yep, thinking about all these things that we have to do again once snow is in the picture. Now let's take a look at our current and live radar. So we can see the snow, it's starting to leave Calgary. The high pressure is sinking south and it's taking the snow along with that as well. As we see the greens here, like in Medicine Hat, that is rain. So we are seeing sort of that transition line as well. Some people seeing the snow, others seeing the rain. Today in Calgary, 8 centimeters of snow has fallen. However, if we take a look back over the past few days, some areas have seen around 40 centimeters. So snow in September in Alberta is not out of the question. It's not out of the ordinary. However, this much snow, yes, a little bit unusual. Now, snowfall warning still in place for the higher elevations. Calgary, Lethbridge, you guys are still in the snowfall warning as well. This should get dropped later on today, however, because this is the tail end of the snow. So we can see the trough, which is bringing the moist air. That continues to move further south. The high pressure, a very cold and Arctic air mass, that also leaves. Temperatures very cool tomorrow. We'll get into that, plus talk more about the snow and the storms coming up. Well, I'm so glad you could join us because there is a lot to talk about here on the Weather Network. We will be tracking snow, yep, the snow throughout Alberta, and also the storms throughout southern Ontario. So we have a wind chill going on and a humidex going on. Depending on where you are throughout the country, that will determine what you will be feeling. Now, let's take a look at some photos here. Some photos sent in from Calgary. And yes, when we talk about the snow, this is what's going on. Crazy snowfall in September. Now, it's not unusual to see snow in September in Calgary, but we're talking about 4 centimeters as usual. Some places have seen 40 centimeters. So with this very cold Arctic air mass, we are seeing those upsloping winds. And again, with the moist air, this is what's creating some of the snow. Also, the driving conditions have been quite bad throughout Calgary. I do want to let you know that Margot, usually our Edmonton reporter, we've sent her down into Calgary, and she's going to be joining us live throughout the show. Coming up a little bit later on, closer to when we're getting through that drive home. She's going to help out with some of the road conditions because, yes, very dicey when it comes to this freezing mark. The wind chill making it feel below zero for places like Calgary and Lethbridge. So, yes, we are dealing with a very winter-like story throughout Alberta. So right now we can see the snow moving out of Calgary. The high pressure will sink south and it will take some of the snow with it as well. So that's the good news. Snowfall warnings, yes, still in place. They should be dropped later on today. And this is how much more snow we can expect. Widespread, less than 5 centimeters. Now, you may be thinking, oh, well, that's okay, less than 5 centimeters. But Jacqueline, I'm sure a lot of people in Ontario are thinking, 5 centimeters of snow? What? That's crazy. Banff, Okotoks, Kananaskis. So further south, still seeing those snowfall warnings. But yes, for Calgary, you're out of it. So as we take a look at our radar right now, for example, Calgary International Airport, you're pretty much done with the snow. So we can see the snow continues to make its way further south. That's where we are still seeing some of the white stuff, yes. And we will be updating this map in just a second. But as I mentioned earlier, Calgary, you are now out of the snowfall warning. So what you've seen today, that's the biggest bulk of the snow. What happened yesterday in towards today. Some places in Calgary have seen 40 centimeters of snow. Now, snow in September for Alberta is not unusual, but 40 centimeters, yes, that's definitely getting up there. Now, as we take a look at this afternoon, so this is our trough. That will continue to sink south. The high pressure as well, that cold Arctic air mass, which is allowing some snow to be produced, that will also sink south. And then as we get in towards Thursday, looks like we do have a good day in store. Now, because this snow is done for the city of Calgary, this is where we're going to start to see the winds picking up, and this is where we're going to start to see the wind chill increasing. Right now, feeling like -6 in Calgary. So as we take a look, Currently, not too much wind chill further north, but down and towards Calgary, that's where we're feeling like more -5, -6, so those cooler temperatures. Now stay with us here at the Weather Network. More on the storms and snow.
At Target,